The reason I suggested I shouldn't go is just all the hate that I'm getting from family members. Mostly just all the talk from Christine and Janelle. We're all culpable in this.
The person who's getting married specifically asked Kody and I to come. It's a little tense. I am a bit concerned about Saul and I getting sort of caught up in that. I don't want them to get hurt.
I don't want to be there with people looking at me but not talking to me.
Hi friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Monday, September 30th, 2024, and I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. If you have wondered how Kody and Robyn spoke about Logan Brown and Michelle Petty's wedding that happened in 2022, it would be they are the victims of everyone and no one in the family is safe. Imagine being Logan Brown, the oldest child of Kody. Yep, he was the firstborn. He's been the father in the family of the kids that Janelle and Kody had together. And imagine that child who Kody always called a good kid, always said was a great leader, did so much in the home, didn't want him to move out when he went to college, was really, sad about him leaving the house. That kid, the kid that went on to get a bachelor's degree and an MBA, his wife, Michelle, who he met at UNLV, the two who have become very upstanding citizens in Las Vegas. Logan has left his faith behind. He's embraced a completely different philosophical and political spectrum than his father. He's left fundamentalism. The child that was the rock of the family got married, and they didn't want to be on the show. And so instead of actually talking about Logan and Michelle's wedding, they spoke about an event and they called them people and bride and grooms. Kody, you saw in the very beginning of this episode, admits that he at one point told the person that he didn't want to go to the wedding mostly because of the hate that he was receiving from the family and the people that he would have to see there and their trash talking and the bad feelings and the vibes that he gets from all the people that are involved in his family. Listen, Kody's 56 years old, and you would think at some point he would grow up and realize that the world doesn't revolve around him and that this was a moment for his son and not bring in drama with it. All he had to do was say, I'm going to be there. What do you need? What you want? I love you. But that's not what happened. He did go, but they didn't bring their youngest kids, Ariella and Solomon, because of course they have to protect them. And Kody and Robyn acted like they were the victims of the entire night. It's very sad.
I'm not in the place where I'm like, oh, I'm just forgiving you guys, so it's all good now. I'm just not there yet. Yeah, between me and Christine, it's just hostile.
Yeah, I mean, my kids are upset with their dad, but they're not going to make a scene or do something stupid. This is just going to be ignore each other and pretend like you don't exist, basically, I think.
The kids don't need to be involved in the issues with their parents.
Kody describing his relationship with Christine as hostile is a violent description. I don't see anything hostile with what Christine is doing. I see all of the hostility coming from Kody. And Kody acting like he needs to forgive Christine for choosing to leave him is hysterical. This is a man that literally threw them, abandoned them, used them, trafficked them for labor for the show, took the money, married the woman 10 years younger than the rest of them after they had had his children. He put the rest out to pasture, and he put his life into Robyn. And the thing is that Kody thinks that everyone owes him an apology because in the cult, the men are always right and they never are wrong. And in his eyes, he probably thinks that it was their disobedience and they're trash talking of him. And he's really upset about that because, in their old belief, they took a covenant to not speak negatively about their priesthood authority, but they've abandoned so much of their faith that at this point, these covenants they made they don't mean anything because Kody didn't honor them. Kody didn't keep them. Kody's the one to blame. And Janelle makes clear that her kids have issues with their dad. And Kody refuses to acknowledge that his kids have issues with him that have nothing to do with Janelle and have to do with how they were treated by him. And for Robyn to say that no child should be brought into this situation with their parents, I mean, yes, that's true. But Robyn brings her kids into the argument constantly by forcing her kids to go on camera to defend the fact that everyone hates them for Robyn and to act like Robyn was the perfect mother when everyone else wasn't. And Robyn constantly brings her kids in to family problems. She never talks about, she always says, they didn't accept my kids. But really, she's saying is they didn't accept me. And she's pissed off that about not being accepted. And then she lumps her kids in, even though most of the kids did love Robyn's kids.
We didn't really talk to each other. Kody Robyn, I nodded at Mary. Christine and I sat together with the kids. Kody and Robyn sat elsewhere.
Being at the wedding was a little bit awkward just because there are some people in the family that don't really want to interact with me. I'm kind of in the middle of this breakup.
Janelle seems like super overwhelmed as she's describing seeing Kody and just this overwhelming sense of like how they didn't interact. They really didn't say hi. They said hi in passing, but they didn't speak. This concept that they were like there for a family member, their son's wedding, and they were distant, didn't sit together. They're over, obviously. And she's looking at this from like, that just happened, you know? At this point in time, Mary had left Kody, but I don't think Janelle and Christine knew that because they weren't speaking to her. And so I think at this point in time, a lot of people were thinking that Mary was on the side of Kody and Robyn, and so they didn't want to speak to her. Mary, for them, honestly, I understand why they don't speak to Mary because Mary's not safe for them, Christine and Janelle, that is, because she was the legal wife for the longest time. She was the one that dictated and controlled everything, and they had to kind of do what she said and how she wanted things, and they had to bow down to her. And they finally don't want to have to deal with that because Kody basically used Mary as an extension of himself to like do his dirty work, but also like he pit them all against each other. And so there's all these hard feelings that really might never recover because they're not getting therapy at this point in time, which is sad. I wish they would. But Janelle is obviously very clearly upset, distraught about what she saw. And then Kody's explanation is ridiculous.
Robyn and I were put over kind of in a corner, probably for our safety. We were kept, it was just in the back.
Some of the family came up and gave me a hug, and I just embraced them back. I got an I love you from Gabe, and I told him I loved him back.
I saw Janelle, and I didn't want to talk to her. It was hard. It was hard. I was, whether I'm right or wrong, it just still feels just deep, deep wounds of betrayal for me.
Kody uses extremely divisive language to describe his own family members in a way I would think to make him the victim, but also to make those that don't obey him and that are outside of his fold are dangerous and wicked. And so, like, when he uses this divisive language, like, we were put in the back probably for our safety. I mean, at the wedding for the ceremony, he sat in the second row on the other side from Christine. So he wasn't really in the back. I don't know about the seating at the reception, but they weren't hidden in a corner. There's pictures of Kody and Robyn walking around right in the middle of everything. For him to act like they were just put there for his safety is just another way for him to reiterate to everyone else and model to his children and to Robyn that you can't trust these people, they're dangerous. A malignant narcissist who has a safe full of guns is calling women, and children unsafe when he's really the one that's unhinged and unsafe. And this is a wedding. You don't have to talk to everyone. There's a lot of people there, but you can also just like suck it up and act like an adult and do your thing. This is your child. They're one day of happiness that they'll ever experience, and he's making it about himself and acting like he's the one that's been betrayed. Betrayed by who? He betrayed all of these women and his children for years. He's betrayed he has betrayed his kids to their fundamental core of who they are. by neglecting them and abusing them and abandoning them, but he's the one betrayed. It's like Kody is so hell-bent on being the victim that he doesn't see anyone else. He doesn't empathize with anyone else. He doesn't even consider the fact that he hurt his children. It's really disgusting, honestly. And Robyn having to throw in that she got a I love you from Gabe just seems like really weird. Very weird. Unnecessary. But a way for her to maybe prove to herself, like, hey, the boys don't hate me like they say they do, but they don't, whatever.
There were so many family members that it was just like, hi, I love you, and let's get away from each other. I saw Christine there as well, but I didn't talk to her. I did feel like some people were trying to look like they were having more fun than me. This is how childish this whole divorce has been. Such a teenage drama.
I felt like there could have been more positive interactions there that weren't there.
To be in the mind of Kody and Robyn would be exhausting because Kody views what everyone is doing something to get back at him or to slight him or to like him or worship him. Like everyone's motives and everyone's thoughts and everyone's feelings and everyone's dancing is to provoke him and prove to him that they're having more fun. The only person that I actually see acting childish in this scenario is Kody and Robyn. Because Robyn then says, I feel like there could have been more positive interaction. Kind of like she says, I just don't think there was enough, the parents didn't do enough to blend the families, completely ignoring the fact that she and Kody were parents too. And they had a responsibility to help with the blending of the families. And in there, it's like, she's just falling short of almost like blame Janelle and Christine for not having enough positive interactions with everyone when she's probably not taking any initiative or doing anything herself to actually be positive or interactive with anyone. I can't fathom, why can't they just be happy? Why can't these two who have been together the whole time, who have ignored these women, just let them go? Why can't they just let them be happy? Why do they have to constantly make it about them? Why can't they just be happy that Christine has moved on and is in love? And why can't they just be happy that Janelle has moved on and is happy? Why can't they just be happy for Mary and let her go? Why can't they just be happy? They got what they wanted. Kody didn't want to be a plural husband anymore. He didn't want to be a polygamist anymore. He wanted no responsibilities. He just wanted Robyn and he got her and he still can't be happy. It's actually just disgusting.
It's bittersweet. It kind of hurts, kind of bugs me, but I wouldn't change the trajectory of where I'm going, I guess. It'll take me a couple of days, I think, to process it, and I'm glad that these events won't be all the time.
Overall, the whole wedding was just sad for me. We used to go places as a family, and now it's like those who were my partners are now almost like enemies. It's awkward.
I don't know what the solution is. Separations are harder than I thought. Divorces are harder than I thought.
Christine didn't really say anything about after the event, how things went, what happened. She really said nothing. I don't know if she wasn't interviewed about it, but she didn't add any commentary for it. So it's just weird that Kody just can't stop talking about Christine. Janelle honestly looks like a deer in headlights. She looks like she saw a ghost and she looks just overwhelmed. And I can't speak to what she might be thinking, but it reminds me of like when you've gotten out of a relationship, right? And you say your ex was really abusive and you see them, and then logically in your head, you know that it's good that you're not with them, right? And logically, you know that you've made the right choice to leave them. But when you see them, it's like this flood of emotions comes back because you have a history with them, and she has 30 years of history with him. She has children with him, and it's an emotional day because it's their oldest son that used to be Kody's pride and joy. And then it's like that realization that we're not here together to celebrate our son. We can't even be civil to each other to celebrate our son. And in a way, it's devastating because she has to hold a boundary with him. Otherwise, Kody will try to lure her back in. She has to be firm about her thoughts or in her feelings and not give him even a sliver of hope that they could reconcile. She cannot give him an inch or he will take a mile. And when you're trying to hold a boundary with a narcissist and an abuser, it's hard. And I think this is why Christine has pushed Janelle to make the decision to leave and tell him that it's over, even though they know it's over, right? Even though she knows it's over. because Kody preys on that vulnerable moment of Janelle being like dumbfounded, overwhelmed, emotional. Cody's just mad, right? Janelle's like, I see a ghost. She's vulnerable because that whole life is gone. And then she said, I guess this won't change the trajectory of my life, right? I guess is a very, it's a ambivalent statement. She doesn't get back with him, but Kody has preyed on that ambivalence of hers so many times to get her back. And he even says, I still don't understand why we can't reconcile. So it's like he's constantly playing into that vulnerability of hers. And I feel for her. I'm glad she's holding that boundary as hard as it is.
When Christine moved my stuff out of the house and she said, I don't want you to stay here anymore, it felt like a betrayal, but I wasn't sure that she was being serious. And I'm looking back now and feeling how stupid that was of me. For Christine and I think that if we would have just broken up as friends, it would have been better for the whole family. Make it so we could get back together another time instead of polarizing everybody.
And he's back to Christine moving his things out of his house. This was a year and a half after she said she was leaving. I think they broke up in like April of 2021. This is October of 2022 that the wedding happens. And he's still talking about her moving him out. Seriously. And acting like this was the betrayal of a lifetime. And then has the audacity to say, if we would have just broken up and been friends, it would have made so much been easier, but it's so polarizing. Christine's the only one that's not been polarizing about all of this. She decided she wanted to leave. She said multiple times she wanted an amiable divorce. She wanted to be friendly. She wanted to be nice. She didn't want it to be divisive. She didn't want it to be cruel. But Kody's the one that made it polarizing and made it divisive and made it abusive. He got up on a camera and screamed and yelled and like stabbed his knife in his kidneys, his proverbial knife in his kidneys screaming event. He basically used his Mormon fundamentalism language to insult every aspect of her and rip her down to the core of who she was as a person, her mothering, which he knew would hurt her the most. Kody knows exactly how to hurt her, and she had to put up a boundary. And the way that he speaks about her is abusive. Christine doesn't say abusive things about him. She describes things matter of factly. She'll say things like, this is how it was in the house. He was over at her house. She was doing this. But she's not calling him names. She's not trying to hurt him where it hurts. She's not sinking to his level. She's just trying to move on and tell the truth. And he's degrading her and weaponizing her mothering against her, because the reason why the kids are with her is because she was the one that was constant in their lives and loved them. The reason why they're with Janelle is because Janelle was the constant in their lives and she loved them and they love her. It's not hard to pick a parent when you know the parent is the one that's there for you. And in this case, those two were there for their kids. Flawed and all, sharing a husband and all, cult and all, they at least were there for their kids more than Kody was for their kids and for them. The only one that's polarized this family is Kody and Robyn with their continued violent and divisive language. And it only gets worse when Kody sits down and they play a family game. And it's really weird because they play this family game and he's with his kids and there's no talking from the actual game. So instead they're using like the game as like a backdrop for the two of them, Kody and Robyn, to bitch and moan about the family dynamic again. This entire episode was Kody and Robyn bitching and moaning. This show has become a travesty for the family, a travesty for the children. It's embarrassing. It's honestly disgusting that they're still doing this, because now they're putting their kids and video of their kids overlaying with them disparaging other people. Like a minor child playing Jenga with their dad is being used so Kody can disparage Christine and Janelle and his children. It's so disgusting. And we'll talk about that in our next video. So what are your thoughts about this? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye, guys.